to understand why the world is going so bonkers, all we need to do is read our Bibles. Welcome back to Wretched, and you've been overlooking the Old Testament. That's a bummer, because there's lots of lessons to be learned, specifically from the book of Judges, where every man did that which was right in his own eyes. Inside of these 21 chapters, we see the nation of Israel on a bit of a cycle. They're behaving pretty well, but their spiritual leader dies, and they fall into debauchery. God sends somebody to whack them, bad people, and lots of different groups, not just the Assyrians and Babylonians, all kinds of Hittites, Shivites, Gugasites, Megabites, all kinds of people oppress them. They cry out to God. They repent. He sends relief through a spiritual leader. And what happens? They live peacefully, but then the leader dies, and down they go, and the cycle repeats itself. At the very end of the book of Judges, we see there are many, one of the examples of how bad our thinking can get. And if we think that Western civilization cannot get this bonkers, then what evidence do we have to think that we're better than the people of Israel during the time of the Judges? I would even suggest to you we are worse. So how bad could it get? This obviously is a pickle. No, I'm sorry, this is actually the nation of Israel from this professional drawing that we brought in, sparing no expense. You got the Dead Sea right here, the Mediterranean is over here, but then you've got a bunch of different towns that tells the story of people whose thinking is you just go, well, now it can't get any worse than that. And then it keeps going. It can't get any worse. And it keeps going. And we see where we might be headed. This is the story of a priest from Levi who was hanging out over here in the mountains of Ephraim. This was the territory of Ephraim. When you think about territories, if you will, think states in Israel, named after the 12 sons of Israel. This is the territory of Ephraim. There's some mountains over here, and this Levite priest hanging out in the mountains, and he decides, you know what I think I want? I want to disobey God in Genesis 2:24, and I want myself a concubine. So he gets himself one from Bethlehem, south of Jerusalem. You need to get a close-up of this because our professional artist did not do this to scale. So he takes a concubine from Bethlehem. I believe he takes her back to the mountains, but she decides, I want to go home and be with Dad. So she runs away from her husband to spend 4 months in Bethlehem until the priest decides, I'm going to go get that woman. So he does. He travels from the mountains of Ephraim down to Bethlehem, and as he's traveling back up north, I don't know exactly why this route, he has to stop for the night. This is the territory of Benjamin. That's very important. And inside of the territory of Benjamin, besides Jerusalem being in that territory, is a little town called Gibeah. They decide to spend the night. But just like another story in the Bible, there was no room for them in the inn, and nobody would take them in. So they're sitting out in the town square when an old man, a Benjamite, sees them, and a Benjaminite, and says, you better come into my house or you're not going to be safe here. So in an effort to provide hospitality, he brings the man, a servant, and the concubine into his home for protection, where they're having a lovely meal. All of a sudden, sound effects, sparing no expense. Somebody's knocking on the door. Who is it? It's a group of Benjaminites who want to be really friendly with the Levite priest, if you know what I'm saying. And so the man who provides hospitality gives us our second glimpse into how bad our thinking can become. Our first glimpse, of course, is the Levite priest who gets himself a concubine. But now this man who's trying to protect them says to the people who want to be really friendly with the Levite priest, he says, no. Don't do that. You'll bring shame to the name and you'll give me a bad reputation. I've got a solution. Here, take the concubine and my daughter. Have at it. Boing! What in the world? This man, suffering from the noetic effect of the fall, thought it's better to preserve my reputation. He had a misogynistic view of women, clearly. Take them, not a problem. But don't take my guest. Wait a second. We're just getting warmed up here. So the concubine spends the night being violated by these group of Benjaminites, who then dump her on the doorstep. When the Levite priest opens the door the next morning, there she is. And he gently and lovingly says, get up, we gotta go. But she couldn't get up and go because her get up and go got up and went. She was dead. So how does this fellow respond? Well, he puts her on the donkey, and he's traveling back. He gets back to his home, and he decides, what else can I possibly do with my dead concubine but carve her up into 12 pieces and ship parts of her body through a courier of some sort off to the different 12 tribes of Israel to show what a low thing Benjamin has done. What? What's going on? Every man is doing that which is right in his own eyes. And because we're fallen, because we're busted, if we don't have some sort of restraints, we do the wackiest, weirdest, strangest, most perverted, wicked things. But we're just getting warmed up in the story. So the different tribes, the 12 tribes, they received the parts of the concubine's body shipped off from the Levite priest who shouldn't have been married to her in the first place, and they're outraged. So what do? They go to war against the tribe of Benjamin, and they wipe them out, all but 600 men who had scattered. And when they are celebrating, all the tribes of Israel are celebrating, they make themselves a rash vow. We will not send any woman to Benjamin because we're that mad, and we don't want those men to have wives. But then, boing, it dawns on them, wait a second, then this tribe will go away, and we won't have 12 tribes, and we want 12 tribes. So what are we to do? What are they to do but once again demonstrate the noetic effect of the fall? They say, well, there was a little town called Jabesh Gilead, and they didn't participate in the war against Benjamin. Therefore, the oath doesn't apply to them. See how that thinking works? So what we'll do, we'll go up there and we'll kill all the men, and we'll kill all the married women, and just take the virgins and deliver those women to the tribe of Benjamin so the 600 guys can have wives. But they didn't do their math very well. The problem was, after they slaughtered everybody, just took the virgins from Jabesh Gilead, 400 women, 600 men from Benjamin. They don't all have husbands. So what should we do? I know. We'll go to Shiloh. And in this little town of Shiloh, they were having a party, some sort of dance, says the Bible. You just do whatever you want to, my fundamentalist Baptist friend. They were having a dance. They go in and they wipe out people, the men, the married women, and they take themselves 200 more virgins to deliver them to Benjamin. So all the surviving men that they didn't murder in their last escapade could actually have wives without violating their dopey vow. That is the end of the book of Judges, which concludes by saying, every man does that which is right in his own eyes.